Halsted Telephone Company and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated is proud to present to you this broadcast on yourliveevent.com.
And a good Saturday afternoon here from Aiken High School on yourliveevent.com as we open up our broadcast this afternoon of the 2022 Mid-State Conference Championships High School Dance here from Aiken High School. Good afternoon. My name is Paul Vold, joined alongside former Aiken All-Star Cassie Peterson joining us here today as we get an opportunity for the first time here on yourliveevent.com, and, well, my first experience as well broadcasting and covering Aiken All-Stars and, of course, our area teams, including the Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus Revolution, Crosby Ironton Rangerettes, and also Detroit Lakes for the conference championships here from Aiken High School this afternoon as the gymnasium starting to fill up about a little under 20 minutes away from the beginning of the competitions as well. We'll start with the jazz competition, followed by kick later on here this afternoon, and then around 2 o'clock, awards will take place as we welcome in Cassie Peterson coming here and joining us here this afternoon. Cassie, I'm going to be straight up. I've told every coach that I've spoken with, just about everybody who's asked, I know nothing about dance. All I know is I respect the girls who do it, and it's amazing what they can do out on the floor. So I'm going to be relying on you a little bit here this afternoon, at least from the experience side as well. From, your perspective as a former All-Star as well, conference championships, obviously a precursor to section as well, but it also happens to have a little bit of, pride as well going for a conference title too, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's always great, to be, especially for the All-Stars, to be here at Aiken High School. Mm-hmm. To have your parents and your fans here supporting you is always a really great feeling. And this being conference championships, these girls have competed against each other at least 2 times prior. Mm-hmm. And so, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty to see where the points all line up. And this is your last chance to gather any of those points to see who comes out on top.
And that's one thing I wanted to ask about, too, at least from a dancer's perspective. When you face a team several times, not even just from earlier this year with that mid-state meet at Pequot Lakes, but also at some of the other competitions, seeing some of these teams facing up against each other and at least seeing what some of their routines have been. Does that help in maybe planning on what your routine's going to be? What does that do for a particular team, say for the All-Stars, when they see maybe the Revolution again from like the 3rd time this year?
Yeah, and you're able to compare either on score sheets or just watching them in person. Let's say Pequot's kick height is just insane. They're doing great. And so, that's where we're lacking. So I think it's kind of compare and contrast, what are we doing really great at and continue to do, and where do we need to improve? And, all of those scores are laid out on the score sheet. And then also if you have the opportunity to videotape your team and see, where you could get better.
We have lots to get to here with our pre-championship coverage as well, the Mid-State Conference Championships here from Aiken High School. We're lucky enough to catch up with a couple of coaches here before today's broadcast as well. We caught up with Rachel Norwood with Crosby Ironton and also Detroit Lakes. Britton Ramsey were kind enough to speak with us before today's championships as well. Of course, the schedule does say jazz competition will start at noon with the kick competition after an intermission beginning right around 1 o'clock. So we'll have much more coming up here as well. We'll get to our interviews here on the other side of a break as we check in with some of our sponsors. A big thank you to our sponsors for allowing us to broadcast here this afternoon. It's the Mid-State Conference Championships from Aiken High School here on yourliveevent.com.
At R&J Broadcasting Incorporated, we inspire to provide the best in local sports coverage for our area teams. Listen to our Wake the Lakes morning show for local news, weather, and sports every weekday morning from 6 to 9. If you're enjoying the video coverage of the Aiken Gobblers, thank the sponsoring businesses you see advertising. They make it possible. If you're a business owner and want to reach our viewers and listeners, go to yourliveevent.com and click Advertise to get in contact. That's yourliveevent.com.
If your vehicle has an unfortunate mishap, you want the best in quality bodywork. You need to take it to Aiken Body Shop. They can handle any collision or auto glass repair, and they have a state-of-the-art facility and technology. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit them at 421 North Minnesota Avenue. Towing services also available. Give them a call at 218-927-2883. Remember the name that stands for quality and trust. That's Aiken Body Shop, providing exceptional auto body collision and paint repair since 1974.
It's
Welcome back to YourLiveEvent.com here this afternoon from Aiken High School. The Mid-State Conference Championships. Now we get a chance to catch up with head coach for the CI Rangerettes, that being Rachel Norwood, joins us here today. And Coach, it's been a busy last week plus for your team too. I know competing at 2 different invites in 3 days, especially at Pelican Rapids. I believe that was on Monday, and then this past Saturday at Foley as well. How'd you think the girls did in those 2 competitions?
It was really fun to see, actually, because we saw a huge improvement from Saturday to Monday in just 2 short days, no practice in between. We improved both of our routines a lot. I see confidence a lot more in our girls now. We're hitting that point in the season where they're really just getting strong and they're ready to go. And on Monday, we competed against all of our sections teams, and it was really exciting to see the results. I mean, we're very, very close, neck and neck with a bunch of them. That just keeps driving their competitiveness and their drive to keep working hard. So it was really positive performances and good to see for them.
The last couple of weeks too, I know that your team's been very busy competing in Alexandria as well, and plus the 2 meets from the past week as well. But looking at the season overall for your team, has there been a lot of growth and development from some of your younger dancers getting some first action this season?
Yes, for sure. We definitely have a young team again this season. We only have 4 dancers, 10th through 12th grade, so it has been so fun to see the younger dancers pulling their weight, working hard, and growing so much from the beginning of the season until now. Every competition, we continue to see more and more growth, and the dances are getting cleaner, the dancers are getting stronger, and it's really showing in their execution of these dances.
And one thing too about here for the conference championships, you've seen your competition in Detroit Lakes and also Pequot Lakes, Pine River Bacchus, Aiken as well throughout the season too, and obviously Mid-State conference meet that was back in December too. Did you really take anything away from that from earlier this year, or at least from the times that you've seen some of the other teams here today?
Yeah, we do a lot of analyzing of score sheets, especially right after the meet. We'll sit down as a team and we'll go through scores and really just pick them apart and see what categories we can improve on to kind of edge out some of the other teams in their scores too. So we have really been focusing a lot on our kick technique and our jazz skill technique, so our turn technique and our leap technique. That's been our focus for the last couple of weeks, really just honing in on those little things that can make a really big difference in the score sheet too.
Even talking about, you kind of mentioned too, taking a look at the score sheets and also using that, but also this week of practice too. I know that you competed on Monday, but a few days of practice leading up, were there anything specific working on or kind of tightening in here for this competition today?
Yeah, so we're right now in the season of cleaning. So we just go through our dance from beginning to end, every 8 count with a fine-tooth comb, and we talk about exactly where your hands are, your head is, your arms, your legs. We pick apart literally every tiny little detail, so we are all getting as clean and together as possible. So that's really what we've been spending the last week on, is just going through both of our dances beginning to end and just really nitpicking the tiny little things that can make a really big difference in an execution of a routine.
Coach, just want to say thank you again for taking time to speak with us. Look forward to talking to you after as well.
Thank you so much.
That was our conversation with Coach Rachel Norwood with the Crosby Ironton Rangerettes. Leading up to today's competition with the Mid-State Conference Championships, a reminder as well, of course, with the award ceremony to be taking place, they'll also be taking recognition of the likes of the all-conference team and also Mid-State Conference seniors as well will also be recognized this afternoon. We'll step aside here for another break. We'll get our conversation. Coach Britton Ramsey for Detroit Lakes coming up here. It's Mid-State Conference Championships on YourLiveEvent.com.
Since 1938, purchasing a new Ford or pre-owned vehicle at Aiken Motors. Another tradition that Aiken Motors is proud of is supporting extracurricular activities for area students. Need an oil change or vehicle repair? Schedule an appointment with the Aiken Motors Service Department. Tires? Check out the low price tire guarantee. Aiken Motors, family owned and operated, serving the area for over 84 years. For hours, appointments, and vehicle inventory, visit aikenmotorsco.com.
Aiken Gobblers Action with Your Live Event is made possible by the advertising businesses you see throughout this broadcast. They help ensure that we can bring you the coverage at the best price, free. Please thank and support our sponsoring businesses. If you own a business or your organization wants to reach the listeners and viewers of Your Live Event and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated, go to YourLiveEvent.com and click Advertise or contact one of the offices in Brainerd or Aiken. Enjoy the broadcast.
Welcome back to Aiken High School here this afternoon on YourLiveEvent.com as it is the Mid-State Conference Dance Meet as we now get the opportunity to speak with head coach for the Laker dance team out of Detroit Lakes High School. Britton Ramsey will join us here today. Coach, just want to say thank you again so much for taking time to speak with us before today's meet.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
We certainly do appreciate it, and I look forward to this conversation, talking about the Lakers, the season thus far as well. But over the past weekend as well, a pretty good run at the Foley Invitational. I know that there were some big numbers thrown from your team as well, including one of the best jazz team performances that the program has seen, and especially your 12 years being with that program as well. Can you just a little bit about how Detroit Lakes did fare at that Foley Invitational from this past weekend?
Yeah, we had a great showing. It was actually the first event all season that we've had all of our kids on the floor. We've struggled with illness and injury and things it seems like everybody has. So it was the first time that we really got to see what things could look like without holes in their routines and things. And they showed up. They came to really challenge themselves. And we've had a number. I mean, we don't have record from before I was coaching, but from when I've coached, I have those numbers for the number to beat for a program history, and they were able to crush that on Saturday. So they were super pumped, super excited about that, and we still know that we can be better. So they're really excited to compete this weekend and going into sections to they have had a goal all season to be all conference champions, and in order for that to happen, it looks like we're going to have to take first place in both kick and jazz on Saturday, and I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Crosby's looking flawless, and they've got great scores, and can really appreciate what they're doing. So we're working hard and hoping that what we do is enough, and is seeing how close we can get.
Well, Coach, obviously you're talking a lot about how your team has kind of fared throughout the season, too, and you had mentioned, too, making some adjustments, even with some injuries and illness throughout the year, basically getting your whole team together at a good time of the season, now going from the conference meet and looking ahead at the rest of the schedule. But obviously you got to start with today at the mid-state conference meet. And, you talk about with injuries and illness, that affords the opportunity for some of your younger dancers to step up and fill in some spots as well. Who have been kind of those girls that have really stepped out and filled up a few holes for the routines for your team throughout the year?
Yeah, we had, back in December, we had one of our freshmen who actually was just dancing just jazz for us, kind of come in and say, like, I can learn this dance. This is Thursday night, coming home from conference on Thursday. And she said, I can learn this dance by Saturday, and I can get put in. And we were like, no, that's, that's a day. That's not probable. And she's like, nope, I got it. And sure enough, she came to practice Friday, and she knew the dance. And so we put her in. And then after that, we had a few more jazz girls that said that, yep, we'll dance kick too. And they all came in that next week. So we've had quite a few girls step up to learn their routine so that we had more able bodies on the floor, and they're all in. So it's been really fun to see, and really, really fun to work with kids that have that grit and that attitude that they want to compete, and they're willing to do what it takes to compete. So super fun to work with them.
Yeah, and that's great to hear, too, especially some of your dancers filling in some spots that definitely need adjustments, even with the injuries and the illness. But you look at it from a leadership perspective, too. Have there been some leaders on the team, your captains or co-captains, that have stepped up throughout the year to make sure everybody's on the same point?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of our captains is one that is out. Her season, kind of came to an end over Christmas break, because of the illness and injury situation. And so she has been able to take kind of a co-coach role, if you will, and is seeing things from our perspective versus being on the floor. And so that's been super helpful because she's kind of understanding both sides of it. She's been on the floor. She understands what it looks like from there, but now she's seeing it from our perspective too. So that's been really helpful for her. And our other captain Tori has had a lot on her shoulders, being the only captain still performing and dancing. So it's been a tough tough thing for her to fill, and they're just doing remarkable, stepping up. And then we've had other upperclassmen that have really helped kind of fill in those gaps, and they're they just really stepped up, and they're giving corrections, and they're helping one another and encouraging one another, and it's just really awesome to see. This is just a remarkable group of ladies to work with, and it's just been super fun to see how they all step in to different roles when they need to without being asked. They just kind of jump in when they need to. So.
And I know even, too, with all the adjustments that have happened throughout the year, maybe some changes in routine, but looking at here today, I know that you kind of alluded to it being going to have to be in some of the top spots for Jazz and for Kick with some of the competition in Crosby and obviously with Aiken, too, and the other competitors for this afternoon's competition as well. What are you looking at here? I know that the routine probably had some adjustments going into the conference meet today, but what's it going to take here, especially for the Lakers here, to have a good performance here this afternoon?
Yeah, today we need to be super clean and not make any mistakes, which we actually haven't had a kick performance yet that has been a super clean, mistake-free performance. So that's really the goal for today, is just to, with all the added bodies we've had and a lot of the changes in formations and everything, it's just always been new for the kids. So we're hoping with some consistency now the last couple of weeks without changes, they can really feel comfortable in what they're doing and not make the mistakes and really give a clean routine today. We switched up our uniforms last week, and I think that while there's no place for that on the score sheet, it kind of helped them feel better about what they're doing. It's definitely a look good, feel good mentality, and so I think that helped them kind of give a little spark when they're feeling drained in the middle of the dance. They're giving themselves a little boost that they need. So that's been fun to see too. And it's going to come down to really clean, mistake-free performances today.
Well, Coach, I certainly do appreciate the time for giving us a little insight on your team, and do wish you the best of luck here this afternoon and for the rest of the year as well.
Thank you so much.
Britton Ramsey, head coach for the Detroit Lakers dance team, joins us here before we get started with the events for the Mid-State Conference meet at Aiken High School here on YourLiveEvent.com. We'll have much more leading up to the opening performances here from Aiken High School, the Aiken All-Stars, the Crosby Ironton Rangerettes, the Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus Revolution, and the Detroit Lakers here on YourLiveEvent.com.
Bliss Salon and Boutique in Pequot Lakes is more than the top spot for hair and makeup. Yes, they're a 2021 Best of Weddings pick by the Knot magazine and are in their Hall of Fame, but Bliss Salon and Boutique is so much more. Find lots of locally made and handcrafted accessories and jewelry. Pick up some of Pequot Lake's own Ufta juice. A pamper package makes the perfect Valentine's Day gift. Stop and see the awesome gals at Bliss Salon and Boutique on Main Street in downtown Pequot Lakes.
At Brandel Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC, their team works together to provide you with the ultimate Buick, GMC, and Chevrolet shopping experience. Browse the lot at BrandelGM.com. They're there to exceed your expectations, deliver the best service possible, and make car shopping fun again. Browse the lot at BrandelGM.com. When looking for your next new or used vehicle, shop Brandel Chevrolet Buick GMC in Aiken. Our reputation rides with you. BrandelGM.com.
At R&J Broadcasting Incorporated, we inspire to provide the best in local sports coverage for our area teams. Listen to our Wake the Lakes morning show for local news, weather, and sports every weekday morning from 6 to 9. If you're enjoying the video coverage of the Aiken Gobblers, thank the sponsoring businesses you see advertising. They make it possible. If you're a business owner and want to reach our viewers and listeners, go to YourLiveEvent.com and click Advertise to get in contact. That's YourLiveEvent.com.
If your vehicle has an unfortunate mishap, you want the best in quality bodywork. You need to take it to Aiken Body Shop. They can handle any collision or auto glass repair, and they have a state-of-the-art facility and technology. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit them at 421 North Minnesota Avenue. Towing services also available. Give them a call at 218-927-2883. Remember the name that stands for quality and trust. That's Aiken Body Shop, providing exceptional auto body collision and paint repair since 1974.
It's been a family tradition since 1938, purchasing a new Ford or pre-owned vehicle at Aiken Motors. Another tradition that Aiken Motors is proud of is supporting extracurricular activities for area students. Need an oil change or vehicle repair? Schedule an appointment with the Aiken Motors Service Department. Tires? Check out the low price tire guarantee. Aiken Motors, family owned and operated, serving the area for over 84 years. For hours, appointments, and vehicle inventory, visit aikenmotorsco.com.
Welcome back here this afternoon, yourliveevent.com. Well, it's almost noon, I should say. 11:59 right now here from Aiken High School. It is the Mid-State Conference Championships. Paul Vole joined alongside former Aiken All-Star Cassie Peterson as now the Mid-State Conference seniors being recognized here this afternoon. And, of course, a lot of dancers being recognized here for the four teams, including Aiken, Crosby Ironton, Pequot Lakes, Pine River Bacchus, and Detroit Lakes as well. By the senior year rolling around, I'm sure a lot of dancing has been done for these seniors too, I would imagine, Cassie. There we go.
there we go. Yeah, especially for these girls that have been a part of the program, maybe on a junior varsity team, all the way to their senior year. That's 6 years of dancing.
And it certainly is. Of course, seniors being recognized here for the Mid-State Conference. Competition will be getting started soon. We'll be starting off with the jazz competition. It will be Detroit Lakes junior varsity getting started here. And, of course, for those that are probably wondering how we're going to work things out here with our camera angles, you're looking at camera number 1 here. That's going to be for side number A. And lo and behold, a little magic as well. We'll actually flip it on over here. At least that was the plan here this afternoon, trying to get things situated here this afternoon as well. Let's see if we can get things flipped around here the correct way. There we go. Now we got it right.
Good deal.
That's how we'll get things going back and forth here this afternoon. So bear with us. We're going to make things happen. Hopefully you enjoy the broadcast here this afternoon. And I know, Cassie, there are many judges here this afternoon that are going to be reviewing a lot of different technicalities and also some of these stunts and work as well. From your experience, where do you see some of the strongest scores coming out when it comes to these competitions?
Well, just speaking from the jazz competition, the score sheet is broken up into multiple categories. We're looking at turns, we're looking at leaps and jumps, and then we're also looking at the different choreography, whether that be the difficulty, the routine effectiveness. There's just so many things that these judges have to do in a small amount of time. And so coming from someone that probably hasn't seen dance before, you're going to think about the turns. Are the turns in unison? Are the turns difficult? Are they turning 2 times or 5 times? That makes a big difference. And then also, the jumps and leaps. Are they high? Are their legs straight? Are they doing things in combination? You can up your difficulty by doing a turn and coming out with the jump, or doing some things like that, or doing different combinations with your turns. And at the same time, you're going 100 miles an hour. You're changing formations, and you're out of breath by the end of 2 minutes, because it's like 2 minutes straight of your hardest cardio that you can think of.
Of course, we'll get started here momentarily. Detroit Lakes Junior Varsity will be on the floor here this afternoon, and we will have to, bring down our microphones just a little bit, just for the safety's sake of the video stream, and allowing us to fully cover the competition here this afternoon from the Mid-State Conference Championships here on this Saturday afternoon. Of course, it will be the Detroit Lakers dance team, junior varsity team. They will be dancing to Higher Love to start off here this afternoon. And again, they'll be on the side this afternoon. We'll hand things over to our public address announcer and get ready for the Mid-State Conference Championships here on yourliveevent.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Detroit Lakes Lakers JV Jazz team.
First one in for the afternoon. Cassie, what'd you think of the performance?
I thought the Detroit Lakes did a really great job. You know, when you see a stronger JV program, you know that that's going to translate onto the varsity team. And I think that they have done a really great job cultivating their program and, you know, just making it better all the time. A specific skill that you probably saw in there was a change of spot turn. It's when the dancers are changing the spot that they're rotating their head around really fast in the turn, and that is an incredibly difficult skill that I was surprised to see in a JV team, and they did it pretty dang well. So good job to Detroit Lakes, and looking forward to see their varsity team.
So that's one in here for the afternoon. Next up, coming up, will be the Crosby Ironton Rangerettes JV team. They'll be making their way here to the floor as well. And the way things are going to work as well, once we get done with side A here, the side that you're looking at right now, the judges are actually going to switch over to the other side for the second half of the Jazz competition as well. And we'll flip on over to that side as well as we get ready here for the Rangerettes to hit the floor as well. And just as a not knowing dance at all, is it normal to have this number of judges at each competition?
You know, it varies, but I'm not surprised to see the amount of judges that we have today. You know, see a couple familiar faces, which is good.
All right, here come the Rangerettes, and we'll see how we do here this afternoon.
The Crosby Ironton JV Jazz.
Rangerettes making their way off the floor here this afternoon here for the Mid-State Conference Championships at Aiken High School. What'd you think of that one, Cassie?
You know, good job to Crosby Ironton. They've been a strong program for as long as I can remember. And, you know, maybe struggling a little bit with some of the, you know, unity between their turns and their jumps. But you know what they did really well is they had really great presentation. You know, not only do you have to have the skills, but you have to, your face has to show it as well. You have to sell yourself to the judges. You have to sell yourself as a team to really, you know, make the most of that score.
Just a couple moments still here before we get to now on the varsity side, Detroit Lakes, the Lakers. getting ready to go here for our third competition as well, or I should say our second team on the Jazz side. We'll go through Detroit Lakes, then Crosby Ironton varsity as well before the judges will switch to the B side on the other side of the gym floor, and that will be here in just a few moments, as well as the JV team from the Lakers will be on the seats right to the side, right below the judges as well. We're in the judges area here this afternoon, so the Lakers, led by Coach Britton Ramsey, will be dancing to the song Anyone. Varsity captains Merritt Engham and Tori Lafreniere for Coach Ramsey, assisted by Haley Brower and Kyra Balls as well. We'll send it right back to our public address announcer for the announcement, our next competition with the Detroit Lakes Lakers dance team. Lakers been fairly busy as of late in their competition schedule. Of course, they were at Foley, where they finished first in the Jazz and fifth in kick as well. Well, a little triangular that they had with Moorhead saw them finish first in Jazz and third in kick before they also competed at Alexandria on the 8th in the new year. So 3 competitions the last week plus for at least last 2 weeks, I should say. Well, for Crosby Ironton, they were on Saturday, this past Saturday at Foley. Then on Monday, they're at Pelican Rapids as well. So 2 competitions in 3 days. Coach Norwood did mention that she was very satisfied how that turned out, as well as the Lakers heading out to the floor here this afternoon. Lakers here this afternoon, finishing up varsity team as well. And fun little fact as well, as they were getting through the practice routine, as were the Lakers, that was head coach Britton Ramsey noting that, might have not been the correct version of that song that they wanted to dance to, but lo and behold, they were able to put together quite the routine this afternoon.
Yeah, I think it worked out for them, watching, those big turn sets, there was, little error, maybe not 100% in unison, but still looked really good. And you can tell the difficulty. They're going from regular open turns, going into pirouettes after, and jumps. They were very strong on the jumps, beautiful extension, pointed toes, straight knees, all stuff that you're looking for and that these judges are looking for today.
Rangerettes varsity team up next. Crosby Ironton Rangerette fans getting the crowd going as well. Varsity Jazz will be going to the song So Cold, led by Coach Rachel Norwood, and the varsity captains, I should say, Madison Bierchek and Connolly Wasson as well for the Rangerettes, and that will finish up the first side of the 4 here this afternoon. Second half of Jazz will be including Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus JV, then the Aiken varsity, then the varsity for the Revolution after that, followed by a 20-minute intermission, which will give us a chance to thank some of our sponsors as well as do a little bit of grading as well, or at least judging of how those all fared for the teams here this afternoon, at least for the Jazz side of the competition, with the Rangerettes now making their way here to the floor for the Mid-State Conference Championships at Aiken High School. And, of course, a little over a week plus away now, actually, about 2 weeks away now for the Section 4A competition that will take place for 3 of the 4 teams, with the All-Stars, the Rangerettes, and Detroit Lakes as well, I believe, are in the same section. I can't remember off the top of my head. Should have probably written it down. That would have been good to know. But, again, that'll be in Wadena, Deer Creek for at least the Rangerettes and the All-Stars coming up on February 5th.
Always exciting times as we get down to the section competition. Teams are really spiffing up their routines, taking the time to look at every detail. Is your hand together? Is your hand apart in a Jazz hand? Is everybody on the same counts? It takes a lot of time to pick apart every single count and make sure that everyone's on the same page before you head to those big competitions.
Just the sheer amount of time that has gone by this winter already. We're already in the next week will be the last full week of January, and then the craziness of February, coupled on top of, for lack of a better term, March Madness following behind it as well, with state dance and then all the other state tournaments that'll take place. And next thing you know, it'll be the spring, and hopefully it's a good spring for all of our area teams as well. And here come the Rangerettes varsity team. Strong reaction from the Rangerette fans. Means that they put together quite the routine as well as they make their way off the floor here. Cassie, what'd you think of the Rangerettes?
Great job to the CI team. It's hard when you're only working with 6 dancers to really make the most out of formations and things, but I think that they really did a really great job. And, maybe not as difficult as like we saw with Detroit Lakes, being turns or jumps, but again with the presentation you can really tell that Crosby does a good job of practicing that, not only when they're performing, smiling, making eye contact with the judges. That's a score within itself, and it's one that a lot of teams forget about.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that maybe not so much surprised me is it makes sense. The presentation part of the competition, you can have all the routine nailed down, it's all seamless, but if presentation is obviously a big part of the score too.
Yeah, and in the jazz dances we see, it's different than kick in the respect that you can have an emotional dance where you can send energy and make the crowd feel energy, maybe not by smiling, but if you have an emotional number, you need to show emotion on your face as well, because otherwise there's kind of a disconnect in between the dancers and the crowd. And so I think that they did a really good job of, showing energy the entire time. They sure didn't look tired, and if they were, they had me fooled.
Judges are finishing up here on side A as well, so we still got a couple of minutes before we head over to side B for the second part of the jazz competition. Will be Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus Revolution JV, followed by Aiken Varsity, and then also the Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus Varsity as well. We're here over on side A, so hopefully everything looks like from afar. Everything's still holding up over on side B as the judges will be making their way across. And talking about the last time all 4 of these teams were together, it was the Mid-State Conference meet that was on December 9th over in Pequot Lakes. And at some of the category scores and also the judges' ranks as well for the varsity side for the jazz competition, Detroit Lakes finished in first, followed by Crosby Arrington, Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus, and then also Aiken finishing in 4th as well, while it was the mirror same as well in the kick competition, although Detroit Lakes averaged a score of 10, while Aiken finished 4th with an average score of 11 as well. So that was much closer between 3rd and 4th in the kick competition, according to our judges as well. So they're getting settled in, and we'll flip on over here to side B, and hopefully I can do this here correctly as well before we head on over. And we'll make a note as well that with the camera equipment that we've got over on the far side of the court, there may be a couple instances where maybe a dancer or two will get cut off during the routine. We do apologize, but we just look for it and hope you're enjoying the broadcast as well here on yourliveevent.com. Paul Volt joined alongside former Aiken All-Star and Cassie Peterson as the last few swipes of the floor from our volunteers. I think they're volunteers.
It's a thankless job, so
it very much so is.
Because you would not believe the havoc that a stray bobby pin could bring when you're trying to turn.
Definitely. Most definitely on the gym floor, and especially some other hazards. Right in midcourt of there's that. I don't know what that cover is for. It might be for electrical purposes, but luckily enough, that thing is secured down safely for our dancers. As the cleanup crew finishes up, and it will be the Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus Revolution dance team coming here this afternoon out on the floor.
Varsity Jazz, and here to dance for you now is the Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus JV Jazz team. They are coached by Kate Schmaltz, Gabrielle Carey, and Kenra Kozolka. Captains are Gabby Zeismer and Zaida Morsch. They are dancing to the song, Now I Can Fly.
It's the Revolution here this afternoon. Pequot Lakes, Pine River Bacchus. I know, Cassie, we're facing the other side from their routine. Anything did you pick up from their routine?
You know what I could see from the back, a couple of mistakes here and there, but a solid JV performance. Some of these girls are maybe only in 7th or 8th grade and are still learning, but it's a great opportunity to have a JV team where you can put in the time and the hours to really hone in on your skills, because you sure don't make it to that varsity team overnight.
Absolutely, and I know that even at a younger age, getting introduced to dance, I'm sure was a very instrumental part, especially growing up as and part of the All-Star program for yourself, too. I'm sure a lot of great memories and also a lot of, a lot of trips to state as well in your time, too.
Yeah, I was lucky. I grew up, I have two older cousins that both danced, so I was a part of the world even before I was on the team, and, I did Just for Kicks in town, and we're lucky in Aiken to have a really good kids program, and Dina's Dance Company, who was a long-time JV coach for the All-Stars. But, the earlier you're exposed to it, the better you're going to be, and the more time that you can practice and just knowing the skills and the different things. And from my experience, all the older girls are really great at mentoring the younger. And so if you have someone that you can ask for, help or just to watch or has some dance knowledge, go for it.
It will be the varsity team for the Aiken All-Stars coming out on the floor next for their jazz routine. Of course, the All-Stars led by Caitlin Wake and Justice Ramos as well. Varsity captains Natalie Obert and Kenna Garrard. And the varsity jazz team will have their routine to Harley Quinn, prelude to their kick routine coming up in the second half after the intermission as well. After this will be the Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus varsity. Then we'll have our 20-minute intermission. We'll have the chance to catch up with some of our sponsors and just talk a little bit about more of the jazz side of the competition before we get to the kick portion of the Mid-State Conference Championships here from Aiken High School.
Here to dance for you now is the Aiken All-Stars Varsity Jazz Team. They are coached by Caitlin Wake and Justice Ramos. They're dancing to the song Harley Quinn.
Aiken All-Stars, a varsity Jazz team with their routine here this afternoon. And Cassie, I know that we'll get your analysis on their routine, but one thing we have yet to mention as well is, of course, the reactions out of the coaches when they hit certain parts of the routine. Caitlin Wake, no stranger to that as well. And I know being out on the floor, you're focused on the routine, but seeing that out of your coach, I'm sure it's got to be a really nice feeling.
Oh, yeah, and it's nice, like, when you can sneak a quick look, like, I don't know, when you hit the long line and kick and your coach is, jumping up and down, just losing it. It gives you that extra, bit of energy that you maybe needed. But great job to the All-Stars, and I give a lot of credit to Coach Caitlin, taking over a team like the All-Stars. Obviously big shoes to fill from when Lisa Roth and Marion Cordy ran the program. But maybe not the difficulty that we saw with Detroit Lakes or even the Crosby team, but you have to play to your team's strengths. And I think that she did that really well. Turn sets maybe a little slower, but the turns that she chose to incorporate kept the dance clean, which I can respect, not throwing in all these ridiculous skills that you can't hit, because then the dance just looks messy. And so you don't want that. So I think she did a really good job of playing to their strengths. And I'm excited to see the All-Stars and kick, because that's always kind of been the specialty of the team. So. And
that will be coming up after a 20-minute intermission after our final performance of the Jazz competition on the far side of the court, or I should say side B, that is, here at Aiken High School. We're here over on side A. For those that are tuning into the video stream here this afternoon, probably sneaking a peek at how the competition has gone thus far. And it will be the Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus Revolution taking the floor for their final performance here of the Jazz competition. Of course, the head coach for the Revolution is Kate Schmaltz, assisted by Gabrielle Carey and Kendra Kozelka. And we'll hand it over to the Revolution. Final performance of the Jazz competition over on side B, the Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus Revolution here from Aiken High School. Paul Vold joined alongside Cassie Peterson. And what'd you think of the Revolution on their routine, Cassie?
Solid performance from the Revolution. This is the first time that I've seen Pequot Lakes and Pine River Bacchus combined. So happy to see that and happy to see more girls out on the floor. It's always a lot more intricate with the formations and transitions when you can have more dancers out on the floor. And, so maybe not the hugest difficulty scores that we'll see all day, but I think that they still did a really good job in executing their routine.
Well, we got a 20-minute intermission coming up here before we get to the kick competition. It'll be pretty much reverse order, starting with Pequot Lakes, Pine River Bacchus, and Aiken, followed by Crosby Ironton and Detroit Lakes. So 20-minute intermission here. We'll get a chance to thank some of our sponsors by letting them know that we certainly do appreciate their gratitude by allowing us to broadcast the Mid-State Conference Championships here from Aiken High School. We'll step aside here and get you some of our sponsors this afternoon as you're tuning in to the Mid-State Conference Championships for high school dance on yourliveevent.com.
Aiken Gobblers Action with Your Live Event is made possible by the advertising businesses you see throughout this broadcast. They help ensure that we can bring you the coverage at the best price, free. Please thank and support our sponsoring businesses. If you own a business or your organization wants to reach the listeners and viewers of Your Live Event and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated, go to yourliveevent.com and click Advertise or contact one of the offices in Brainerd or Aiken. Enjoy the broadcast.
Bliss Salon and Boutique in Pequot Lakes is more than the top spot for hair and makeup. Yes, they're a 2021 Best of Weddings pick by the Knot magazine and are in their Hall of Fame, but Bliss Salon and Boutique is so much more. Find lots of locally made and handcrafted accessories and jewelry. Pick up some of Pequot Lake's own Oofta Juice. A pamper package makes the perfect Valentine's Day gift. Stop and see the awesome gals at Bliss Salon and Boutique on Main Street in downtown Pequot Lakes.
At Brandel Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC, their team works together to provide you with the ultimate Buick, GMC, and Chevrolet shopping experience. Browse the lot at brandelgm.com. They're there to exceed your expectations, deliver the best service possible, and make car shopping fun again. Browse the lot at brandelgm.com. When looking for your next new or used vehicle, shop Brandel Chevrolet, Buick, GMC in Aiken. Our reputation rides with you. brandelgm.com.
From all of us at Enbridge, thank you.
Thank you.
Miigwech, and thank you for working on Line 3 replacement.
Thank you to everyone who supported this project.
Construction is complete on a new and safer pipeline that will deliver the North American energy that we all rely on every day. And it's done thanks to the support and hard work of thousands of people. I'm grateful for every single voice of support and every hour of labor put into this project. Thank you.
Welcome back to Aiken High School here this afternoon. It is the 2022 Mid-State Conference Championships on yourliveevent.com as we're into our intermission with the jazz competition wrapped up with Paul Vold joined alongside former Aiken All-Star Cassie Peterson here. So graciously allow us to instill a little bit of dance knowledge in my life, just a little bit, because I came in with zero confidence on how to get this all taken care of and set up. I got to give a lot of credit as well to Mark Forseth from yourliveevent.com, the Halstead Telephone Company, for getting us set up as well with all our different camera angles and the equipment that came rushed down from the Ada, Minnesota area as well. So we got to give a big thank you as well. And a big thank you to all of our sponsors as well for allowing us to broadcast here this afternoon. But Cassie, taking a look back, obviously with all the four different routines from the four varsity teams as well. Mm-hmm. And looking at the mind of the judge now here, we've been talking about your dance experience, but now on the judging side, do you think you had a favorite out from a technical perspective as a judge that you thought stood out above all others?
Sure, and I think Detroit Lakes is going to be the one to beat today. They sure put together a really nice routine with a lot of variety of their jumps and turns and just different combinations put together. That's where you can really raise that that difficulty score. And working with the amount of dancers that they are, they have a lot of variation of their transitions and their formations. And, just a couple different things there. They had an emotional routine, which is kind of something unique in the world of dance team. Based on your uniform or your music, you can talk about certain topics. Theirs was depression and suicide based, which is great because you can really send a message where, kind of unlike other high school sports.
Absolutely here this afternoon. Of course, we're still in our intermission. A lot of spectators from all 4 schools here in attendance today and taking advantage of the, I think a smoothie bar is set up out
is
by
it
the
really?
I believe so. I know I did see some all-star apparel out there. They had stickers as well. May have to get a couple of those before the end of the Mid-State Conference Championships here today. But getting a chance as well here, of course, once we get wrapped up sometime after about 2 o'clock here this afternoon. Of course, we do have the kick competition coming up. Then after that will be the presentation of all conference dancers, followed by the results, with those being tallied here this afternoon. But still here on the stations of Homegrown Local Radio. Of course, we're on yourliveevent.com, but for those tuning in from the Aiken area, coming up later this evening, we will have actually, starting before a little bit 2.5 hours from now, we'll give you the NFL Divisional Playoff doubleheader, with that being provided by our colleagues at Westwood One Sports. Cincinnati at Tennessee, followed by San Francisco at Green Bay. That football doubleheader on 3WI AM 1270 and 96.3 FM. Then we'll close out the night on the Gobbler, KKIN AM 930 FM 103.1, as Hockey Day Minnesota will come to a close with the Chicago Blackhawks after getting walloped by the Minnesota Wild last night. They'll get it all taken care of once again from St. Paul as well. So the Wild picked up a win on the road big time, and will look to make it 2 in a row on back-to-back nights from the XL Energy Center. Take another break. Of course, we still got the kick competition coming up, and that is all on the way from the Mid-State Conference Championships from Aiken High School on yourliveevent.com.
Come check out Gabby's Eats and Treats in downtown Palisade with fast, friendly service at reasonable prices. Here at Gabby's, we're all about family and friends. Our commitment is to provide a clean, comfortable environment for our customers with good home cooking and a friendly family place where everyone likes to come back to. Open Friday and Saturday from 7 until 8, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday from 7 until 2, and Wednesday and Thursday from 7 to 7. Dine in or take out. Call 218-845-1000.
For the best pizza in town year-round, head to Joe's Pizza in Pequot Lakes. Feast on their fantastic pizza, calzones, pasta, subs, salads, and more. Call Joe's Pizza for curbside pickup, takeout, or delivery. Full menu is available. Open Monday through Saturday from 11 to 8. Joe's Pizza's on Front Street in Pequot Lakes. Call 218-568-4770. Joe's Pizza is proud to sponsor our coverage of the Pequot Lakes Patriots and Northern Lakes Lightning, where they wish the kids and coaches all the best. At R&J Broadcasting Incorporated, we aspire to provide the best in local sports coverage for our area teams. Listen to our Wake the Lakes morning show for local news, weather, and sports every weekday morning from 6 to 9. If you're enjoying the video coverage for the PRB Tigers, thank the sponsoring businesses you see advertising. They make it possible. If you're a business owner and want to reach our viewers and listeners, go to yourliveevent.com and click Advertise. That's yourliveevent.com.
Stop in to Reed's Market and Gas Express in Cross Lake. They're located on County Road 3 and are open at 7 a.m., 7 days a week. Everything you love about your hometown grocery store. A great bakery, deli, and while there, be sure to pick up Reed's Hardwood Smoked Meats, made in Reed's very own smokehouse. Fill up with gas, too. Reed's Market is proud to sponsor local high school coverage with Homegrown Local Radio and wishes all the student athletes the best. Reed's Market in Cross Lake.
Welcome back here on yourliveevent.com, as well as, of course, yourliveevent.com. That's the only thing we're broadcasting on here this afternoon. used to doing radio and video at the same time, but Paul Volt joined alongside Cassie Peterson here this afternoon. It's Mid-State Conference Championships as the jazz competition is wrapped up. Kick coming up here, probably a little over 10 minutes or so here from Aiken High School. And now we get into the kick competition as well here this afternoon, and I'm sure that brings its own set skill sets for a lot of these girls too.
Yeah, and it's, dance team as a sport is interesting, and especially for these girls that dance both kick and jazz. It's kind of two separate worlds.
Right.
As we look at the score sheet for kick, we have a whole category based on kicks, choreography, difficulty of those kicks, execution, and then routine effectiveness. So much goes into every time one of those girls puts their leg in the air. Are their backs straight? Are their knees straight? Is their toe pointed? And then there's a variety of kicks that are more difficult than others. And then if you put them in combination with one another, or you're moving the formation as you're kicking, those are all things that the judges are looking for that can really up that difficulty. And, it's always fun with the kick competitions, if they have a theme or, fun music, fun uniforms. That just adds to the overall routine effectiveness. And throughout the years, we've seen so many cool things, and it's such a creative outlet for the judges and the girls, and it just makes dance team so unique.
And that was one thing I was going to ask you about as well, with it being the two separate events, and it is really two different worlds when it comes to obviously putting a routine together, and also the different, like you had mentioned with the score sheet too, what are the judges looking at? What to be, obviously trying to stay in rhythm with your team, but also at the same time taking into account what's going to look good for the judges is a huge thing.
Yeah, and I mean, back in my day when we would practice, a lot of times our coaches would try to get as high as possible, or try to get a video camera as high as possible, because that's where the judges are sitting. They're sitting right at the top of the bleachers. They tried to teach us, you should have your chin up at all times and be making eye contact with each of those judges, in a way to say, pick me for first,
Absolutely. And I know that we're getting this closer towards the start of the kick competition after this intermission. It will start off with Pequot Lakes Pine River Backus JV to start off, followed by Aiken All-Stars, and then the Revolution varsity group as well. Then the judges will switch over from side B back over to side A for the second portion of the kick competition as well here from the Mid-State Conference Championships. And talking about the theme as well for, obviously the kick portion of the routine too, Cassie, is that something that's decided at the beginning of the year for what do we want our kick routine to be themed around?
Sure, and the coaches really have the power, when it comes to something like that. As a previous All-Star, we had a group of usually older girls that would participate in the choreography. But, that is the time that you go over your music choice, you go over your uniform choice, and the options are endless. You can do whatever you want. And so it's just a really exciting time to, decide what you're going to do for that year. And the fans really get into it, which is really fun. If you ever have the chance to get to the state competition, it is mind-boggling, how talented the dancers are, but the fans are just insane, and it's a ball.
For someone who doesn't know a lot about dance to begin with, I've been to the state dance tournament multiple times as well. My wife's family, we've been talking about it pretty much all day off the air. We're Cannon Falls Bombers as well. Of course, I went to Byron High School. We had like a 2-year stretch where we had a team win a section title, but beyond that, that's as far as I want to stay out of the whole Cannon Falls Aiken All-Star battle, just watch from afar and just be a mediator. But it definitely can attest to the fact of how electric the atmosphere is for state. And I know that this All-Star team and all 4 of these teams definitely want to get to that moment at the state tournament as well.
Yeah, and it's, having the opportunity to go to the state tournament all the 4 years that I was involved in the team is such a cool experience, and I really don't take it for granted because, not every team gets to experience that. And, having those rivalries, it lights fire under your butt, which is great. And so, back in my day, it was Cannon Falls. They were the one to beat, but man, oh man, were they talented, and they were hard to beat. And, I have a younger sister that also participated in dance. And, the Frazee team was all eyes on them, and it was back and forth, tiebreaker after tiebreaker. It was tough. And so I think that really helps not only get the fans involved, but, even anybody that's a AA team or a AAA team that's just there watching, they can see, that these teams are neck and neck, and it just makes it so competitive and so much fun to watch.
We do want to give a special shout out as well, besides the fact all of our wonderful sponsors, for Cassie Peterson joining us here on the broadcast, but also for the volunteers that are working the concession stand, taking tickets. Obviously,
yes.
The two gentlemen on the floor you see sweeping the floor to make sure the dancers are going to be as safe as possible. And, of course, for Activities Director Alex White, we were here last night after the boys' basketball game getting everything set up, and I wasn't very smart in leaving my camera equipment set up. I packed it all up, and lo and behold, I was here at 8 o'clock this morning getting everything ready to go. But, again, hats off thus far here for Aiken High School, the All-Stars family, and also for the parents and, the boosters as well have done a great job here in making sure that this is a quality event.
Yeah, there's no program without dedicated parents behind it, and I think that across any sport, it's the same thing. And so thankful for all the All-Stars parents here today, thankful for all the fans that decided to come. The weather is maybe not ideal, especially for those who came as far as Detroit Lakes.
Yeah.
So really great to see a full gym here today, supporting all of the dancers. I think that dance team as a whole, everybody's here supporting everybody. And it's always been very respectful and civil and a good atmosphere.
Absolutely, and we have much more still coming up our way here. Of course, we'll talk about how the kick competition's going to break down for the matchups, and obviously the rundown of the schedule still coming up as it's the Mid-State Conference Championships here from Aiken High School on yourliveevent.com. We'll be back here after another break.
Riverwood Healthcare Center in Aiken provides total joint care for shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, hands, and wrists. Our team of highly skilled orthopedic surgeons use innovative procedures to increase mobility and reduce pain. Get back to the activities you enjoy. Learn more at riverwoodhealthcare.org. Riverwood Healthcare, your trusted leader for orthopedics and sports medicine.
Let's get real. You're ready for a place that's big enough to grow and small enough to care. So get ready for the University of Minnesota Crookston. With more than 30 majors, minors, and certificates, you'll earn a University of Minnesota degree in a close-knit community where faculty become friends and friends feel like family. And to get a degree that can make a difference, you don't need a big city, just big dreams. The University of Minnesota Crookston. Real, hands-on, ready.
PRB Tigers Action with your live event is made possible by the advertising businesses you see throughout this broadcast. They help ensure that we can bring you the coverage at the best price, free. Please thank and support our sponsoring businesses. If you own a business or your organization wants to reach the listeners and viewers of your live event and RNJ Broadcasting Incorporated, go to yourliveevent.com and click advertise or contact one of the offices in Brainerd or Aiken. Enjoy the broadcast.
From all of us at Enbridge, thank you.
Thank you.
Miigwech, and thank you for working on Line 3 replacement.
Thank you to everyone who supported this project.
Construction is complete on a new and safer pipeline that will deliver the North American energy that we all rely on every day. And it's done thanks to the support and hard work of thousands of people. I'm grateful for every single voice of support and every hour of labor put into this project. Thank you.
Come check out Gabby's Eats and Treats in downtown Palisade with fast, friendly service at reasonable prices. Here at Gabby's, we're all about family and friends. Our commitment is to provide a clean, comfortable environment for our customers with good home cooking and a friendly family place where everyone likes to come back to. Open Friday and Saturday from 7 until 8, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday from 7 until 2, and Wednesday and Thursday from 7 to 7. Dine in or take out. Call 218-845-1000.
For the best pizza in town year-round, head to Joe's Pizza in Pequot Lakes. Feast on their fantastic pizza, calzones, pasta, subs, salads, and more. Call Joe's Pizza for curbside pickup, takeout, or delivery. Full menu is available. Open Monday through Saturday from 11 to 8. Joe's Pizza's on Front Street in Pequot Lakes, Call 218-568-4770. Joe's Pizza is proud to sponsor our coverage of the Pequot Lakes Patriots and Northern Lakes Lightning, where they wish the kids and coaches all the best. At R&J.
Welcome back here this afternoon. It's the Mid-State Conference Championships here on yourliveevent.com. Kick competition just a few minutes away. I would imagine we'll probably get started about 1 o'clock since we got, probably done at a good time as well for allow some of these, for the dancers for all four teams to get rested. And we've been talking about it too. Obviously there are, if not almost all girls dancing not only for the jazz but also for kick too. And they do need that rest. So even with before we got started here this afternoon, they get a chance to work on the gym floor. And there were some girls that were huffing and puffing, obviously, getting those last minute changes and just solidifying that routine here is obviously going to be a very physical routine coming up here with the kick competition too.
Yeah, and when you're at these smaller meets, it's tough to be a jazz dancer and a kick dancer because the turnaround time is just not very long, and your muscles are gassed completely. And so to get a hold of your breath, get a hold of yourself, and you got to go back out and put a smile on your face and do it all over again.
Right.
The stamina that it takes to do that is mind-boggling. And, some of these all-around dancers that you guys are going to see today, are just true athletes. And I think dance team doesn't get enough credit for that because it is just a hard work sport that takes a lot of time to hone in and to really excel at. And so giving those dancers, credit where credit is due.
Oh, absolutely. And again, I've been saying it pretty much to anyone who's asked about anything I know about dance, and I tell them I know absolutely nothing, but I respect the girls that go out there and do it on the regular. And even when I do stop by the high school, see the All-Stars practicing in the cafeteria area, and it's very interesting the conditions that they have to be in order to even practice and get down their routines, because sometimes there isn't a lot of space to work with.
Yeah, and I mean, at least when I was on the team, we were restricted to the cafeteria. We got very little gym time, which, wasn't anyone's fault.
No.
The basketball team can only practice in the gym. And so we did with what we, had and, really tried our best and to make, the best of a not so great situation. And so, the All-Stars really work hard and, deal with what they got.
Well, getting ready here for the kick competition. We'll start off the Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus Revolution to start off the kick competition as we're on side B of the floor with the judges over there as well. Well, the Revolution JV team getting our kick competition started off, and it's always a great crowd reaction whenever they come into that single line and firing off those kicks for sure. Cassie, what'd you get from that routine from them?
I thought that they did a really good job. You know, any 90s kid can appreciate the music choice.
Yes. Yes,
but
can.
A fun routine from the Revolution, you know, a little bit of issue with some kick timing there. But then again, coming from a young junior varsity team, it's all part of the learning process. So good job to the girls, and I think overall a good routine.
We do have the All-Stars coming up here momentarily as well as waiting for them to get out of the locker room in the entrance area. And again, it will be the All-Stars varsity followed by the Revolution varsity team as well. Before we'll have that judges switching, so I'll have a couple of minutes in between this set and the next one as well for the later half with the JV and varsity for Crosby Ironton, the Rangerettes, and the Lakers of Detroit Lakes. And here come the All-Stars. Aiken All-Stars here with the varsity kick competition here for the Mid-State Conference Championships as well before the judges switch sides as well. Cassie, I want to ask you before we get to their routine and a little bit of talk about it as well. Does it help a team as well when they go maybe later in the competition because it's fresher in the judges' minds, or does it come down to obviously too having solid routine and very put together with kick and even the jazz side as well? It's fresher in the minds of the judges when a team goes later before the awards are handed out, but is it strictly come down to the scores ultimately?
Yeah, it does come down to the scores, but, some people say that, being first is kind of the toughest spot because the judges have to, have some sort of guide almost, because if a team goes out and they're really great, you're going to be compared to that team as they continue. So, your best bet is to go out there and give it your best shot and hope that the judges judge accordingly. But dance team is really lucky in Minnesota. They have a really strong group of judges, and they are trained very well and have continuing education. And so I think that there's a really good communication in between the judges and the coaches. And it keeps all the scoring pretty dang consistent. You're not going to get out here and see a team that really did a great job and not end up placing. Right. So, they stick to their guidelines, and it ends up being accurate.
Coming up here momentarily, of course, we'll have the Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus varsity team, the Revolution, that is, before the judges will switch. So sheets being handed in from the All-Stars routine as well. Talking about the routine as well, what did you see from them?
Good job to the All-Stars. I thought that the theme was fun. Dealing with some kick timing issues, maybe the music was a little fast, but, the faster the kicks, the more difficult the kicks. So I understand why they probably had it at that speed. But you can tell when the team's together and all the kicks are together, they look really great. And, kick height overall, when they had those shining moments, was really awesome. But, just some areas for improvement. But overall, good job to the All-Stars.
And I know another consideration to be taken into with kick is obviously how, I guess, maybe straight the line is when it broken down to 2, 3, or even all together as well. How parallel they are with each other is a huge consideration for the judges.
Exactly. And that all factors into your transition and formation score. So you always want to make sure that you are, at your exact pinpoint to where you need to be on the floor.
Well, the Revolution varsity kick team out on the floor right now. And we'll give it to them here for their performance. We'll finish out the first portion of the kick competition with the Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus Revolution, their theme of Mortal Kombat. Cassie, quite the performance from them.
Yeah, good job to the Revolution team. You know, overall their kicks looked together and they, you know, had good height. So I thought that they did a really good job of having, you know, a solid routine. You know, tiny things like pointed toes, straight knees, those things are all the things that the judges consider. Right. But as a varsity routine, I thought that was really solid. And I thought that they did a good job, high energy. Good job, Revolution.
Absolutely. The first half of the kick competition, I guess we've reached the seventh inning stretch.
I guess.
Take Me Out to the Ball Game is being played right now. But the judges will switch over here to the A side of the home floor with Crosby Ironton Rangerettes, and followed by the Lakers junior varsity team. Then we'll have the Rangerette varsity, followed by the Lakers varsity team as well. Then after we get done with the kick competition, then it will be presentation of the all-conference dancers, followed by the results in the Mid-State Conference Championship to be awarded for both for varsity as well as for JV as well. So Crosby Ironton, the Rangerettes, waiting here as well as we get a sweep on the floor, and we head into the later half of our competition from the Mid-State Conference Championships. And of course the presentation of the seniors for all four teams this afternoon. For Aiken, Natalie Obert, one of the seniors for Aiken. Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus, Mandy Petit as well. Crosby Ironton had Madison Biersick and also Connolly Wasson, while Detroit Lakes, Merritt Angham, Peyton Ishins, Haley Erickson, Tori Lafreniere, and also Jaden McDougall for the Lakers here this afternoon, as we get a chance here to catch our breath as the judges making their way over, which will also give us the chance to switch on over to the other side of our broadcast. And we certainly hope everyone's been enjoying the video stream here from yourliveevent.com. It is the Mid-State Conference Championships from Aiken High School. Still got a couple of moments here before we get started. Now that we've gotten halfway through, now going from obviously the Jazz side of the competition into the later moments, it would certainly be a little bit of a benefit for Detroit Lakes and Crosby Ironton. They've had the little bit of the longer wait as well. They started off, then they had to wait for the B side of the Jazz, 20-minute intermission, plus another 15, 20 minutes or so. So they've almost had almost an hour of rest. Yeah,
I was kind of surprised to see it set up that way, but, you know, it varies. And
it really does.
You know, during any competition, you can be drawn last and then drawn first. So, you know, it just adds to the excitement of being a part of the dance team, you know. But excited to see what Crosby, Ironton, and Detroit Lakes bring to the table for sure.
Again, we'll start with the JV Rangerette team, followed by, of course, the Laker junior varsity team. And then we'll be ready to go here as one of our judges signals that they are ready to go. So are we. As it will be the Crosby Ironton Rangerettes taking the floor, start the second half of the kick competition. Rangerette junior varsity team getting off the start of the second portion of our kick competition as well. For the Rangerettes, Cassie, what'd you see from them?
Good job from the Rangerettes. You know, a little bit struggling with a little bit of the execution side, but, you know, a lot of these younger girls, you know, they're still learning, and a little bit of a stumble towards the end there. But she came back and she finished strong, which is all that really matters. So good job to the Rangerettes today.
Absolutely, and I know that obviously that there is a lot of emotion that goes into a competition sport like this, but it does help teammates there to pick you up if you do fall too.
Yeah, you spend a lot of time with these girls and coaches, and it does turn out to be a family atmosphere. And so if anybody can bring you up when you're not feeling so great, it's going to be your team.
Just a couple steps away now will be the Detroit Lakes Lakers JV team as well. And then we'll have the Crosby Ironton Rangerette varsity team, followed by the varsity team for Crosby Ironton as well. Or are they going to, looks like the Rangerettes might be going again, actually, for the varsity.
Yeah, maybe a little switch there. Okay. Crosby Ironton varsity.
Rolling with the punches here this afternoon. We'll just make that adjustment here as well for the Mid-State Conference Championships here on yourliveevent.com. Judges getting their last-minute tallies in here this for their evaluation of the Rangerette junior varsity team.
They have to do it fast.
that they do. I give them a lot of credit. That's why a lot of judges here obviously taking notes on the routine and then translating that into a numerical score. Definitely not for the faint of heart, I bet.
Yeah. No, you need to know that score sheet in and out and, you know, make decisions quickly.
Again, the rest of the schedule following the competitions. Rangerettes out on the floor. We'll give it to them, the varsity team. Crosby Ironton Rangerettes exiting the floor as well here for the Mid-State Conference Championships here on yourliveevent.com. And Cassie, it seemed that was a very good performance from them.
Yeah, great job for CI. A really strong varsity performance. You know, they had a lot of really difficult kicks in there. We call them a sweep kick. At least that's what we used to call them. It's when your foot doesn't touch the ground in between kicks. And so, you know, there's no chance to kind of reset and refire your muscles to bring your leg into the air. And so that's a really difficult thing. They also did some, you know, kick into a leg hold, which is another difficulty thing. A lot of hinge kicks in there where you kick your leg up and your knee stays there and only the top of your leg moves. The Crosby team did a really great job with their presentation. They were really, you know, projecting to the judges. Chins were up, smiles were on, and just sharp overall, you know, because high kick, you know, that precision is one of the things that sets it apart from so many other styles of dance. It has to be sharp, it has to be hard hitting, and just has to be, it's all about the execution and the.
Still have Detroit Lakes still to come our way here, as they will be performing Dream On for their kick performance this afternoon for the Mid-State Conference Championships. And after we get wrapped up with the kick competition, there'll be the presentation of the all-conference dancers, and then the results, who will be crowned Mid-State Conference champion. Well, finishing off the kick competition is the Detroit Lakers this afternoon on yourliveevent.com. Cassie Peterson joined alongside here with yours truly, Paul Vold. And Impressive performance to finish off the competition today, Cassie.
Yeah, Detroit Lakes did a good job. You know, a uniform change is always a fun aspect, and they had the lift in the beginning. You know, as dance team rules, we're kind of limited to what kind of tricks and things we can do like that. But that lift being completely legal. A little struggle from Detroit's team with some timing and some things like that. Had a little bit of a stumble and then a little collision there. But all just a part of the game. And so good job to Detroit Lakes, but I think Crosby is the one to beat today.
So now we are at the portion here. We wait for the presentation of all conference dancers and the results as well. From a dancer's perspective, all routines are finished. Now you're just waiting to see the results. What are those moments like leading up to obviously finding out where you're going to place in the competition? Just either hanging out in an open area at a school or maybe in the locker room somewhere? Is it just waiting to see what happens after knowing that you put out your best performance possible?
Yeah, I mean, after you get back to your room and, you know, get your stuff together, uniform put away, and you want to make sure that you don't leave anything behind for sure. But, you know, usually coaches will get together and talk with their team just briefly. But one thing that Lisa Roth really instilled in our program when I was a part of it is, you know, no matter what place you take, you jump up and down, you scream, you're excited, and just really be excited for what you put out there and take pride in your team. And I think the dance team does a really good job of that anyway, always very, you know, good sportsmanship, congratulating each other and so forth. But, you know, all the hard work is done now. So this is kind of a fun time when you can, you know, get in your warm-ups, relax a little bit, get
Absolutely.
a smoothie if you want to, and just kind of hang out in the wings until the judges are done tallying and hope that they call your name for first place.
Yep, and that will be coming up here momentarily as well, which will give us an opportunity as a big thank you as well to all of our judges who are in attendance here today. We will step aside here for a break and get a chance to thank some of our sponsors for today's broadcast as well. It's the Mid-State Conference Championships here on YourLiveEvent.com.
We aspire to provide the best in local sports coverage for our area teams. Listen to our Wake the Lakes morning show for local news, weather, and sports every weekday morning from 6 to 9. If you're enjoying the video coverage for the PRB Tigers, thank the sponsoring businesses you see advertising. They make it possible. If you're a business owner and want to reach our viewers and listeners, go to YourLiveEvent.com and click Advertise. That's YourLiveEvent.com.
Stop in to Reed's Market and Gas Express in Cross Lake. They're located on County Road 3 and are open at 7 a.m., 7 days a week. Everything you love about your hometown grocery store. A great bakery, deli, and while there, be sure to pick up Reed's Hardwood Smoked Meats, made in Reed's very own smokehouse. Fill up with gas, too. Reed's Market is proud to sponsor local high school coverage with homegrown local radio and wishes all the student athletes the best. Reed's Market in Cross Lake.
Riverwood Healthcare Center in Aiken provides total joint care for shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, hands, and wrists. Our team of highly skilled orthopedic surgeons use innovative procedures to increase mobility and reduce pain. Get back to the activities you enjoy. Learn more at riverwoodhealthcare.org. Riverwood Healthcare, your trusted leader for orthopedics and sports medicine.
Let's get real. You're ready for a place that's big enough to grow and small enough to care. So get ready for the University of Minnesota Crookston. With more than 30 majors, minors, and certificates, you'll earn a University of Minnesota degree in a close-knit community where faculty become friends and friends feel like family. And to get a degree that can make a difference, you don't need a big city, just big dreams. The University of Minnesota Crookston. Real, hands-on, ready.
PRB.
Welcome back to YourLiveEvent.com. From Aiken High School, it is the Mid-State Conference Championships. As we've wrapped up the competition today for the Jazz competition as well as the kick as well. Paul Vold joined alongside with Cassie Peterson, former Aiken All-Star. And another aspect here now that we're going into, obviously, the announcement of all-conference team and then the likes of the results here for the Mid-State Conference Championship is the tallying of these scores as well. And I'm sure that's not going to be easy for for, I believe, is there a head judge that usually keeps all the score sheets, and then like the AD at the hosting school kind of tallies everything together? How do you know how that kind of works?
Yeah, there definitely is a head judge amongst all the judges present, but then I believe that the tallying is done by appointed folks either within the school district or otherwise that are kind of a third party.
Okay.
So, there's no I don't know, fudging of the scores,
right,
I guess. And so the thing is that it does take a little bit of time. So, a dance competition is a time commitment, but it's fun to see a variety of teams. They're usually different when you go from place to place, so you're always seeing something new and something different, and it keeps it interesting.
Certainly does here, and we'll have lots to get to, obviously, with the announcement of the all-conference team, and then, of course, the championships to follow as well for the Mid-State Conference Championships. Another thing to also look at, now that we've gotten to the Mid-State Conference Championships, after this, go to sections, and then beyond that, if your team wins sections, I believe also second place in sections goes to state too.
Yeah, it depends on the number that you have in your section.
Right.
In some circumstances, you get to send 3 teams versus 2, but it all depends on how it's broken up that year.
Gotcha. And I know that Aiken would love to go back to state, especially after last year's run that they had in the later half of their season for the All-Stars. So, and again, that's still all to be determined as we still have to award a Mid-State Conference champion here from Aiken High School. Take another break. We'll get another kind word from our sponsors and continue on with our coverage on yourliveevent.com.
Your live event is made possible by the advertising businesses you see throughout this broadcast. They help ensure that we can bring you the coverage at the best price, free. Please thank and support our sponsoring businesses. If you own a business or your organization wants to reach the listeners and viewers of your live event and RNJ Broadcasting Incorporated, go to yourliveevent.com and click advertise or contact one of the offices in Brainerd or Aiken. Enjoy the broadcast. At RNJ Broadcasting Incorporated, we inspire to provide the best in local sports coverage for our area teams. Listen to our Wake the Lakes morning show for local news, weather, and sports every weekday morning from 6 to 9. If you're enjoying the video coverage of the Aiken Gobblers, thank the sponsoring businesses you see advertising. They make it possible. If you're a business owner and want to reach our viewers and listeners, go to yourliveevent.com and click advertise to get in contact. That's yourliveevent.com.
If your vehicle has an unfortunate mishap, you want the best in quality bodywork. You need to take it to Aiken Body Shop. They can handle any collision or auto glass repair, and they have a state-of-the-art facility and technology. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit them at 421 North Minnesota Avenue. Towing services also available. Give them a call at 218-927-2883. Remember the name that stands for quality and trust. That's Aiken Body Shop, providing exceptional auto body collision and paint repair since 1974.
Welcome back to Aiken High School this afternoon here on yourliveevent.com. It's the Mid-State Conference Championships. Paul Vold joined alongside with Cassie Peterson. But before we talk more about what to expect here, obviously with the awarding of the all-conference teams and the all-conference dancers, I should say, as well as the conference championship to be awarded. Getting a look here at our Saturday sports schedule, including which on Homegrown Local Radio, coming up later this afternoon, just about an hour and a half away or less, that NFL Divisional Playoff doubleheader will get started thanks to our friends at Westwood One Sports with Cincinnati at Tennessee, followed by San Francisco at Green Bay on 3WI AM and 96.3 FM. One game will roll into another. Then over on the Gobbler, KKIN AM 930, FM Translator 103.1. Hockey Day Minnesota comes to a close after the Minnesota Wild walloped Chicago last night. They get the chance to do it again tonight from the XL Energy Center down in St. Paul. That will be about a 7:45 pregame, a little bit of a later start with a full day of hockey at high school, college level. Of course, Hockey Day Minnesota based in Mankato this year after getting postponed due to COVID last year. And then wrapping up from earlier today, have to see if we can find a score with the Golden Gopher men's basketball game against Rutgers, which was on Cash 95.9 3WI. Broadcast schedule coming up here for the week, including wrapping up on Sunday. The NFL divisional playoff doubleheader with the Los Angeles Rams at Tampa Bay, followed by Buffalo at Kansas City. 1:30 start over on 3WI AM 1270 and 5:15 p.m. around about that time on 3WI AM. Then on Monday, girls high school basketball, Chisholm will be at McGregor, 6:55 pregame on KKIN FM, Real Country 94.3. Of course, for our high school broadcasts, you can always tune in online at rjbroadcasting.com. But here from the Mid-Conference Championships, the Mid-State Conference Championships, that is, for dance this afternoon. Now here we're at the point, last couple of moments, well, I should say, we'll probably got a little bit of time still. They said they were going to announce awards around 2 o'clock. That's still about 18 minutes away, but we'll see if good tallying, good calculators, or people just good at math are tallying up these sheets here this afternoon to get those scores in. And now after the fact that you get the scores in, you find out if you're a conference champion or not, and then you're preparing for sections.
Mm-hmm.
That's the next big one for a lot of these teams. Some others are going to be, maybe get one more meet in before sections coming up. For Crosby Ironton, for Aiken, that's going to be February 5th at Wadena Deer Creek at their high school. Is it taking a look at the scores, see where some improvement needs to take place for this team, maybe leading up to a week of practice here?
Yeah, definitely. It's crunch time. When you hit sections and state time, and it can kind of be emotionally charged, especially for these seniors. In a lot of cases, for these seniors, their section performance will be their last. And so it's a good time to leave it all out on the floor and truly do the best that you can do and show off what you've been working on all season long. And so I really feel for those seniors. I know that, your high school career coming to an end can be an emotional thing. And just take pride in yourselves and really soak up every second.
Still waiting to see who will be crowned a Mid-State Conference champion and also members of the all-conference team for our dancers from Pequot Lakes, Pine River Bacchus, Aiken, Crosby Ironton, and Detroit Lakes. As we get another chance to work in a break here this afternoon, thanking all of our sponsors for so graciously being a part of today's broadcast, and we could not do it without the help of our broadcast partners and our sponsors. And one way you can show a little bit of appreciation from our sponsors, go out there and take part of their services and always shop local. We'll take another break here. It is the Mid-State Conference Championships, yourliveevent.com.
1938, purchasing a new Ford or pre-owned vehicle at Aiken Motors. Another tradition that Aiken Motors is proud of is supporting extracurricular activities for area students. Need an oil change or vehicle repair? Schedule an appointment with the Aiken Motors Service Department. Tires? Check out the low price tire guarantee. Aiken Motors, family owned and operated, serving the area for over 84 years. For hours, appointments, and vehicle inventory, visit aikenmotorsco.com.
Aiken Gobblers Action with your live event is made possible by the advertising businesses you see throughout this broadcast. They help ensure that we can bring you the coverage at the best price, free. Please thank and support our sponsoring businesses. If you own a business or your organization wants to reach the listeners and viewers of your live event and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated, go to yourliveevent.com and click advertise or contact one of the offices in Brainerd or Aiken. Enjoy the broadcast.
Bliss Salon and Boutique in Pequot Lakes is more than the top spot for hair and makeup. Yes, they're a 2021 Best of Weddings pick by the Knot magazine and are in their Hall of Fame, but Bliss Salon and Boutique is so much more. Find lots of locally made and handcrafted accessories and jewelry. Pick up some of Pequot Lake's own Ufta juice. A pamper package makes the perfect Valentine's Day gift. Stop and see the awesome gals at Bliss Salon and Boutique on Main Street in downtown Pequot Lakes.
At Brandel Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC, their team works together to provide you with the ultimate Buick, GMC, and Chevrolet shopping experience. Browse the lot at brandelgm.com. They're there to exceed your expectations, deliver the best service possible, and make car shopping fun again. Browse the lot at brandelgm.com. When looking for your next new or used vehicle, shop Brandel Chevrolet Buick GMC in Aiken. Our reputation rides with you. brandelgm.com.
At R&J Broadcasting Incorporated, we inspire to provide the best in local sports coverage for our area teams. Listen to our Wake the Lakes morning show for local news, weather, and sports every weekday morning from 6 to 9. If you're enjoying the video coverage of the Aiken Gobblers, thank the sponsoring businesses you see advertising. They make it possible. If you're a business owner and want to reach our viewers and listeners, go to yourliveevent.com and click Advertise to get in contact. That's yourliveevent.com.
If your vehicle has an unfortunate mishap, you want the best in quality bodywork. You need to take it to Aiken Body Shop. They can handle any collision or auto glass repair, and they have a state-of-the-art facility and technology. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit them at 421 North Minnesota Avenue. Towing services also available. Give them a call at 218-927-2883. Remember the name that stands for quality and trust. That's Aiken Body Shop, providing exceptional auto body collision and paint repair since 1974.
Welcome back to yourliveevent.com. It's Mid-State Conference Championships. The calm before the storm that is in the Mid-State Conference Championship to be awarded to one of our teams this afternoon here from Aiken High School. Paul Volt joined alongside with Cassie Peterson, former Aiken All-Star, still repping the proud team colors of the Aiken All-Stars as well. Again, I'm jealous. I wanted to wear my Aiken Gobbler shirt, but I wore it last night, and I don't think too many people would appreciate the radio guy wearing the same shirt twice in 2 days. So, I mean, do have a note as well on our broadcast schedule that the Golden Gopher men's basketball team notched a 68-65 win over Rutgers. Of course, the game against Penn State from earlier this week had to be postponed due to COVID concerns within the Gopher basketball program, but luckily enough, Gopher men able to get back into the win column in the Big Ten Conference. So before we get to the conference championship, the award awarded to one of our teams, Cassie, they picked the all-conference dancers. Is there a certain number of dancers that get picked from each team, or is it kind of variable?
Trying to recall, I'm not sure if they get to pick one or two these days, but it's the coach's decision, which is it's kind of a cool thing to have that honor.
Right.
You have your captains that are leading this team all year round, and I think it's a requirement to be an all-conference dancer that you have to dance both kick and jazz.
Okay.
So you truly are a jack of all trades, and it's nice to be recognized for that.
Did see the trophies come out from Aiken Activities Director Alex White here momentarily, so maybe that's a good sign. And still, a lot of sheets to go through, probably about 10 or so sheets per team, per competition, throughout a couple-hour stretch. Not even 2 hours. We got finished up just shortly after about 1:30, so a really good timing overall from our teams and for the judges as well, who put up here today. Of course, going back and forth to see both sides of the action on the floor as well. And not too many fans have left here this afternoon. Detroit Lakes, Crosby Ironton, Aiken, as well as Pequot Lakes, Pine River Bacchus, waiting and hoping to see their team lift a trophy here this afternoon.
Yeah, it's kind of a, this downtime. Yeah. The crowds really get involved and, are dancing around or cheering for their team. And
yes.
It's a fun atmosphere.
And again, we'll find out who will be named a Mid-State Conference champion here soon enough. And then we'll start winding down our broadcast here this afternoon from Aiken High School. And of course, you can stay up to date what games we've got coming up with our broadcast schedule for not only homegrown local radio, but as well as yourliveevent.com. For yourliveevent.com, our next broadcast will be coming up on Tuesdays. The Aiken Gobbler boys basketball team will be taking on ESCO. And we'll have a couple more next week as well with the girls basketball team Thursday and also Friday as well. Take another break. Big thank you to our sponsors here this afternoon. From Aiken High School, it is the Mid-State Conference Championships on yourliveevent.com.
It's been a family tradition since 1938, purchasing a new Ford or pre-owned vehicle at Aiken Motors. Another tradition that Aiken Motors is proud of is supporting extracurricular activities for area students. Need an oil change or vehicle repair? Schedule an appointment with the Aiken Motors Service Department. Tires? Check out the low price tire guarantee. Aiken Motors, family owned and operated, serving the area for over 84 years. For hours, appointments, and vehicle inventory, visit AikenMotorsCO.com.
Aiken Gobblers Action with your live event is made possible by the advertising businesses you see throughout this broadcast. They help ensure that we can bring you the coverage at the best price, free. Please thank and support our sponsoring businesses. If you own a business or your organization wants to reach the listeners and viewers of your live event and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated, go to yourliveevent.com and click Advertise or contact one of the offices in Brainerd or Aiken. Enjoy the broadcast.
Bliss Salon and Boutique in Pequot Lakes is more than the top spot for hair and makeup. Yes, they're a 2021 Best of Weddings pick by the Knot magazine and are in their Hall of Fame, but Bliss Salon and Boutique is so much more. Find lots of locally made and handcrafted accessories and jewelry. Pick up some of Pequot Lake's own Ufta juice. A pamper package makes the perfect Valentine's Day gift. Stop and see the awesome gals at Bliss Salon and Boutique on Main Street in downtown Pequot Lakes.
At Brandel Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC, their team works together to provide you with the ultimate Buick, GMC, and Chevrolet shopping experience. Browse the lot at brandelgm.com. They're there to exceed your expectations, deliver the best service possible, and make car shopping fun again. Browse the lot at brandelgm.com. When looking for your next new or used vehicle, shop Brandel Chevrolet Buick GMC in Aiken. Our reputation rides with you. brandelgm.com.
And we're back on yourliveevent.com from Aiken High School. It is the Mid-State Conference Championships. Paul Voljohn alongside Cassie Peterson this afternoon. And we asked you after the jazz competition earlier here this afternoon, Cassie, but looking at from what you remember from from the three routines, I should say, for I guess technically all four. Now I remember because there's four teams on the varsity side for sure for the Aiken Gobblers. I should say the Aiken All-Stars, my apologies. Pequot Lakes, Pine River Bacchus, Crosby Ironton, and Detroit Lakes. Which of those four routines that you can recall impressed you the most?
I think on the jazz side, Detroit Lakes was definitely the most difficult, the most technical routine. I thought that they did a really good job. Their turns were very much in unison, and they had a lot of difficult skills in there. Jumps especially I was impressed with. And they had a really beautiful uniform that looked great out on the floor. It's nice to have high contrast colors on that tan floor. And some teams use that to their advantage where they'll do like a tan shoe or in a tan tight. And so you can hide a lot of things that way. So there's a lot of, tips and tricks that you can do just revolving your uniform that can, make a big impression or help kind of hide some of your downfalls. I really like it when teams have a cool color transition or, a lot of sparkle obviously shows up well when you're from far away. But I think that the Detroit Lakes team did a really good job with their emotional number, emoting that to the judges and just putting together a really strong routine.
Just still waiting things out here. Thought maybe we'd be able to get before 2 o'clock before they announce the awards. We're about 1:55, a local time here from Aiken High School. They're going to make us wait it out.
Yeah.
That's perfectly all right. Nobody's moving around all that much. We're still here, and, of course, we'll get the all-conference dancers and the results to crown a Mid-State Conference champion as well. But, Cassie, also while we got a moment here as well before we find out those awards here that you working with Mille Lacs Energy Cooperative, anything big going on as of late over at Mille Lacs Energy?
Oh, man, we're kind of getting into year-end and things, and we recently announced a new fiber internet project, which was exciting. It'll be coming into the McGrath area. We're thinking probably 2023. So, bringing rural broadband out to people that either can't get internet at all or have really slow, internet. It's always fun to expand that network and bring really fast service to people that haven't experienced that before. And I think we see that a lot with COVID. More people are working from home, more kids are maybe doing school from home. And so it's just really a benefit that I like to see grow and that a lot of people in our area I think are excited about too.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to 2023 with that project coming in as well. I know once the spring comes rolling around, there might be a few more projects for Mille Lacs Energy and helping expand the broadband to the area too.
Yeah, things are always changing, and it's it's very grant funded, and so we're always applying for new grants, looking for new areas to bring fiber internet to more people.
Just a few more moments here from the Mid-State Conference Championships as the judges and also the staff here at Aiken High School tallying up the scores here from the Mid-State Conference Championships. Get one more break in here as well, and nobody can say that we didn't thank our sponsors plenty here today for allowing us to broadcast as well. We'll be back here after another break on YourLiveEvent.com as the Mid-State Conference Championships on YourLiveEvent.com.
From all of us at Enbridge, thank you.
Thank you.
Miigwech, and thank you for working on Line 3 replacement.
Thank you to everyone who supported this project.
Construction is complete on a new and safer pipeline that will deliver the North American energy that we all rely on every day. And it's done thanks to the support and hard work of thousands of people. I'm grateful for every single voice of support and every hour of labor put into this project. Thank you.
Come check out Gabby's Eats and Treats in downtown Palisade with fast, friendly service at reasonable prices. Here at Gabby's, we're all about family and friends. Our commitment is to provide a clean, comfortable environment for our customers with good home cooking and a friendly family place where everyone likes to come back to. Open Friday and Saturday from 7 until 8, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday from 7 until 2, and Wednesday and Thursday from 7 to 7. Dine in or take out. Call 218-845-1000.
For the best pizza in town year-round, head to Joe's Pizza in Pequot Lakes. Feast on their fantastic pizza, calzones, pasta, subs, salads, and more. Call Joe's Pizza for curbside pickup, takeout, or delivery. Full menu is available. Open Monday through Saturday from 11 to 8. Joe's Pizza's on Front Street in Pequot Lakes. Call 218-568-4770. Joe's Pizza is proud to sponsor our coverage of the Pequot Lakes Patriots and Northern Lakes Lightning, where they wish the kids and coaches all the best. At R&J Broadcasting Incorporated, we aspire to provide the best in local sports coverage for our area teams. Listen to our Wake the Lakes morning show for local news, weather, and sports every weekday morning from 6 to 9. If you're enjoying the video coverage for the PRB Tigers, thank the sponsoring businesses you see advertising. They make it possible. If you're a business owner and want to reach our viewers and listeners, go to YourLiveEvent.com and click Advertise. That's YourLiveEvent.com.
Stop in to Reed's Market and Gas Express in Cross Lake. They're located on County Road 3 and are open at 7 a.m. 7 days a week. Everything you love about your hometown grocery store. A great bakery, deli, and while there, be sure to pick up Reed's Hardwood Smoked Meats, made in Reed's very own smokehouse. Fill up with gas, too. Reed's Market is proud to sponsor local high school coverage with homegrown local radio and wishes all the student athletes the best. Reed's Market in Cross Lake.
Riverwood Healthcare Center in Aiken provides total joint care for shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, hands, and wrists. Our team of highly skilled orthopedic surgeons use innovative procedures to increase mobility and reduce pain. Get back to the activities you enjoy. Learn more at riverwoodhealthcare.org. Riverwood Healthcare, your trusted leader for orthopedics and sports medicine.
Welcome back here to YourLiveEvent.com, as well as for those tuning in the video stream again at YourLiveEvent.com as we await patiently here for the Mid-State Conference Championships. Paul Vogt joined alongside Cassie Peterson here this afternoon. Again, some of our teams here in the future are going to be, besides the fact, preparing for sections as well. They're going to be preparing for a couple other meets, I think, leading up to as well. I know that Aiken has got sections in front of them, Section 4A, along with the Crosby Ironton Rangerettes. Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus are preparing for their section meet coming up on the 5th as well, down at Sauk Rapids Rice High School as well for that competition here in the near future. Again, that's just a couple of weeks away. And that time in between those meets from conference to sections as well, I would imagine is very crucial, just polishing off, maybe correcting a couple of things noticed from conference that may have affected some scores.
Yeah, it's really, valuable time to see where your team is lacking and where you need to improve, and really breaking down those routines count by count to make sure that everybody is doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, right where they're supposed to be. In this COVID era that we're living in, I give all the teams a lot of props because dance team is unique where each dancer has her own part and has a unique part of each dance. And so if you're out sick for COVID, and you have a spot open, your scores for your formations are going to go down and things like that because not everything's even out on the floor. And so I don't remember which coach it was talking about having a girl step up and fill a spot, but I think that that's something that these teams have had to do all season long while, kids are either getting sick and having to quarantine or injuries. I know that we've dealt with that, back when I was on the team.
Right.
Almost every time we would have to bring up a girl from the JV team last minute to learn the dance within a weekend, and you're putting a lot of pressure on usually a younger girl. And so I know that I give these teams a lot of credibility for being flexible and, trying to put forth their best routine that they can.
I cannot even imagine the change in practices, the change in coaching style, or even just getting, girls ready for bringing them up from JV to varsity in this COVID era too, because there have been so many adjustments, not just for dance, but for all sports as well, that have seen a fair amount of challenges. But I know in the last, even this season too, that the girls have got to be more than happy to be able to put a full competition season together too.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know that, at least what I've seen from the All-Stars, they've had to cancel performance after performance due to sickness. And that can really be a disadvantage for your team because you want to get in that performance atmosphere as many times as possible, especially before you hit a big stage like sections. And so we'll see if the All-Stars decide to perform in between, in these 2 weeks or so, to see if they can get in front of a crowd a few more times. I think that that's helpful, especially with a younger team, because you're learning how to control your nerves, and you're also making your body, get used to that muscle memory, because when you're on the state floor, your mind goes blank and muscle memory takes over, and you get off the floor and you're like, did I just do that? Did I survive? I'm here. I think I did it right. And so muscle memory truly takes over, and, just because you've worked on it all season long.
So waiting to see how we're going to shape up here with the Mid-State Conference Championships from Aiken High School. But one thing we haven't fully talked about yet is how the scoring is kind of determined here. I know that we've talked about the judges with their score sheets down in front of us on the other side of the gym too, because it's broken down in multiple different areas when it comes to even jazz and for kick. How's that scoring kind of developed when it comes all together for an overall score and placement for them too?
Sure. And so, there's multiple categories on the score sheet, but jazz and kick are vastly different from each other. And, you might have seen when Detroit Lakes did their kick performance, they had a lot of jazz skills in there. And I think that's because they have a strong jazz technique to that team, which is great. But, they're maybe not getting all of the points that way because, turns and leaps aren't even on the kick's score sheet. So, it may add in some areas like, routine effectiveness or choreography and creativity. But, they're not necessarily hitting on, like, the big score of, the kick category or the difficulty category. So, just a different tactic there. But it truly is about the scores, and I don't think that people realize that as much. It's just like taking stats for a basketball team or for a volleyball team or whatever. All of the coaches look at these and study these, and it truly is the way to see where your team can improve. And a lot of these experienced judges know exactly what to change when looking at these score sheets. And can make their team better within a matter of a couple practices based off that. And so it's really helpful that the judges get to see these and then also, go back with their team, talk about it, and make improvements where improvements are due.
Yeah, and I know that obviously that maybe when it comes to scores and finding the right place for some of these girls that may have a stronger emphasis on some of the technical aspects, well, maybe a girl's a little bit better on the kick side as well, can not only help in forming the right group to perform, but also in the routine too.
Yeah, and I know that, a lot of a lot of coaches, maybe using jazz as an example, you've probably seen a couple girls do like a solo part. Yep. That can be something cool to add, whereas you may have a large scale of technique and skill throughout your team. You can pick out a couple girls that are very, good at one skill and kind of highlight that. And, it's all about playing to your team's strengths. And I think that is a battle that the coaches and the choreographers have to deal with. But it's all about knowing your team well and knowing what will look good on the floor.
So we'll wait for the judges' scores to come in. Teams will come and line up as well with the all-conference dancers to be announced, followed by the results for the Mid-State Conference Championships here from Aiken High School. As we continue on here with our coverage of the Mid-State Conference Championships here on YourLiveEvent.com.
Let's get real. You're ready for a place that's big enough to grow and small enough to care. So get ready for the University of Minnesota Crookston. With more than 30 majors, minors, and certificates, you'll earn a University of Minnesota degree in a close-knit community where faculty become friends and friends feel like family. And to get a degree that can make a difference, you don't need a big city, just big dreams. The University of Minnesota Crookston. Real, hands-on, ready.
PRB Tigers Action with your live event is made possible by the advertising businesses you see throughout this broadcast. They help ensure that we can bring you the coverage at the best price, free. Please thank and support our sponsoring businesses. If you own a business or your organization wants to reach the listeners and viewers of your live event and RNJ Broadcasting Incorporated, go to yourliveevent.com and click advertise or contact one of the offices in Brainerd or Aiken. Enjoy the broadcast. At RNJ Broadcasting Incorporated, we inspire to provide the best in local sports coverage for our area teams. Listen to our Wake the Lakes morning show for local news, weather, and sports every weekday morning from 6 to 9. If you're enjoying the video coverage of the Aiken Gobblers, thank the sponsoring businesses UC Advertising. They make it possible. If you're a business owner and want to reach our viewers and listeners, go to yourliveevent.com and click advertise to get in contact. That's yourliveevent.com.
If your vehicle has an unfortunate mishap, you want the best in quality bodywork. You need to take it to Aiken Body Shop. They can handle any collision or auto glass repair, and they have a state-of-the-art facility and technology. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit them at 421 North Minnesota Avenue. Towing services also available. Give them a call at 218-927-2883. Remember the name that stands for quality and trust. That's Aiken Body Shop, providing exceptional auto body collision and paint repair since 1974.
It's been a family tradition since 1938, purchasing a new Ford or pre-owned vehicle at Aiken Motors. Another tradition that Aiken Motors is proud of is supporting extracurricular activities for area students. Need an oil change or vehicle repair? Schedule an appointment with the Aiken Motors Service Department. Tires? Check out the low price tire guarantee. Aiken Motors, family owned and operated, serving the area for over 84 years. For hours, appointments, and vehicle inventory, visit aikenmotorsco.com.
Aiken Gobblers Action with your live event is made possible by the advertising businesses you see throughout this broadcast. They help ensure that we can bring you the coverage at the best price, free. Please thank and support our sponsoring businesses. If you own a business or your organization wants to reach the listeners and viewers of your live event and RNJ Broadcasting Incorporated, go to yourliveevent.com and click advertise or contact one of the offices in Brainerd or Aiken. Enjoy the broadcast.
Bliss Salon and Boutique in Pequot Lakes is more than the top spot for hair and makeup. Yes, they're a 2021 Best of Weddings pick by the Knot magazine and are in their Hall of Fame, but Bliss Salon and Boutique is so much more. Find lots of locally made and handcrafted accessories and jewelry. Pick up some of Pequot Lake's own Ufta juice. A pamper package makes the perfect Valentine's Day gift. Stop and see the awesome gals at Bliss Salon and Boutique on Main Street in downtown Pequot Lakes.
At Brandel Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC, their team works together to provide you with the ultimate Buick, GMC, and Chevrolet shopping experience. Browse the lot at brandelgm.com. They're there to exceed your expectations, deliver the best service possible, and make car shopping fun again. Browse the lot at brandelgm.com. When looking for your next new or used vehicle, shop Brandel Chevrolet Buick GMC in Aiken. Our reputation rides with you. brandelgm.com.
From all of us at Enbridge, thank you.
Thank you. Miigwech, and thank you for working on Line 3 replacement.
Thank you to everyone who supported this project.
Construction is complete on a new and safer pipeline that will deliver the North American energy that we all rely on every day. And is done thanks to the support and hard work of thousands of people. I'm grateful for every single voice of support and every hour of labor put into this project. Thank you.
Come check out Gabby's Eats and Treats in downtown Palisade with fast, friendly service at reasonable prices. Here at Gabby's, we're all about family and friends. Our commitment is to provide a clean, comfortable environment for our customers with good home cooking and a friendly family place where everyone likes to come back to. Open Friday and Saturday from 7 until 8, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday from 7 until 2, and Wednesday and Thursday from 7 to 7. Dine in or take out. Call 218-845-1000.
For the best pizza in town year-round, head to Joe's Pizza in Pequot Lakes. Feast on their fantastic pizza, calzones, pasta, subs, salads, and more. Call Joe's Pizza for curbside pickup, takeout, or delivery. Full menu is available. Open Monday through Saturday from 11 to 8. Joe's Pizza's on Front Street in Pequot Lakes. Call 218-568-4770. Joe's Pizza is proud to sponsor our coverage of the Pequot Lakes Patriots and Northern Lakes Lightning, where they wish the kids and coaches all the best.
Welcome back here to YourLiveEvent.com. So we had a little bit of an extended break here, and, well, not too long ago, just moments ago, actually, Activities Director at Aiken High School, Alex White, receiving a rousing round of applause here to bring in the scores here for this Mid-State Conference Championships. Paul Vold joined alongside Cassie Peterson, as we're also seeing some of the teams getting lined up and ready to come back into the gymnasium, as well as we're just moments away, hopefully, from getting a conference champion announced. And, of course, we'll still have the all-conference dancers. And we'll probably just hand it off to our public address announcer to announce, obviously, those recipients of the all-conference honors and also the conference championship here from Aiken High School. And, of course, as we'll start to wind things down with the broadcast following the announcement of those, you can always stay up to date with the latest broadcast for not only Aiken but also Pine River Bacchus events, home events, on YourLiveEvent.com. Our next one for Aiken High School will be coming up on Tuesday as the Gobbler boys basketball team will take on Esco. And we will hand it off to our public address announcer for the announcement of our all-conference team and also for the Mid-State Conference Championships today.
Please welcome the Crosby Ironton Rangerettes. Next up, we have the Detroit Lynx Lakers. ladies, please welcome the Pequot Lakes Panoramaca's Revolution Dance Team. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to all these wonderful dancers and their coaches. Before the awards, the Aiken Activities Department would like to thank all of the participants, event workers, Aiken, All-Stars, booster volunteers, and judges for helping us in supporting our mid-state event this year. Please give a round of applause to all our supporters. Thank you so much. We will begin with the JV Jazz Division. We'll be announcing the top 2 teams. In second place, with a rank point score of 9 points, Pequot Panoramakas. In first place in the Jazz Division, JV Jazz Division, with a rank point score of 4 points, Detroit Lakes. In the Varsity Jazz Division, we will be announcing the top 2 teams. In second place with a rank point score of 8 points, Crosby Ironton. In first place in the Varsity Jazz Division with a rank point score of 4 points, Detroit Lakes. In the JV Kick Division, we will be announcing the top team. In first place with a rank point score of 4 points, Pequot Lakes Panoramakas. In the Varsity Kick Division, we will be announcing the top 2 teams. In second place with a rank point score of 9.5, Pequot Lakes Panoramakas. In first place in the Varsity Kick Division with a rank point score of 4 points, Crosby Ironton. At this time, we will recognize the overall mid-state winners in Varsity Jazz. We'll be announcing the top 2 teams. In second place, Crosby Ironton. And in first place, your mid-state Varsity Jazz Division, Detroit Lakes. Next up, we will recognize overall mid-state winners in Varsity Kick Division. We'll be announcing the top 2 teams. In second place, Pequot Lakes Panoramakas. And in first place, your mid-state Varsity Jazz Division, the team from Crosby Ironton. Lastly, we will recognize overall mid-state winners in both Jazz and Kick divisions for the years 20 2021-22, we'll be announcing the top 2 teams. In second place, the team from Detroit Lakes. And in first place, your mid-state winners in both jazz and kick at the varsity level, Crosby Ironton. Congratulations to all the teams. At this time, we will continue the award ceremony to honor the Mid-State All-Conference and honorable mentions for 2021-22. First, we will be announcing the Mid-State Dance Team Honorable Mention Team. From Pequot Lakes, Pine River Bacchus, Peyton Mudgett. From Pequot Lakes, Pine River Bacchus, Gigi Thompson. From Aiken, Kenna Garath. I'm sorry, I'm doing my best here, come on. From Aiken, Mia Hayes. From Crosby Ironton, Raylan DeRatis. From Crosby Ironton, Caitlin Cornish. From Detroit Lakes, Amaya LeClaire. And from Detroit Lakes, Lily Anderson. Ladies and gentlemen, your honorable mention team for the Mid-State Dance. Perfect, thank you so much. Now we will announce the Mid-State All-Conference team. From Aiken, Natalie Ober. From Crosby Ironton, Madison Bursick. From Crosby Ironton, Conley Lawson. From Crosby Ironton, Hannah Peterson. From Crosby Ironton, Brennan Nelson. From Detroit Lakes, Merritt Enga. From Detroit Lakes, Tori Lafrere. From Detroit Lakes, Peyton Ishus. From Pequot Lakes, Pine River Bacchus, Maddie Pettit. And from Pequot Lakes, Pine River Bacchus, Kelby Lempe. Ladies and gentlemen, your Mid-State All-Conference team. Let's give it up for them. Once again, thank you to all the participants and spectators for attending our Mid-State event. Please drive safe tonight and good luck to the teams for the rest of the seasons. Thank you so much.
Well, as we do award winners here this afternoon, the all-conference honorable mention and all-conference team from the Mid-State Conference Championships here from Aiken High School. Varsity overall went to the Crosby Ironton Rangerettes, while Detroit Lakes came in second, as it was Detroit Lakes taking the Jazz, varsity Jazz, while it was Crosby Ironton taking varsity kick this afternoon as well. Paul Vold joined alongside with Cassie Peterson as well as we do get a chance as the teams get their chance for photos, pictures with friends and family here this afternoon. Overall, Cassie, just a great afternoon of competition for all these teams.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a really great showing of our northern teams here, and everyone did a really great job, and I'm excited to see what sections bring, and then also if any of these teams make it onto the state tournament, we'll make sure to watch.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to that, and a big thank you to everybody who's been tuning in here this afternoon. We certainly do appreciate it, and hopefully you've enjoyed the video stream as well. That did hear the all-conference team. There will be much more information coming up as that does become available, not only to us, but also here on social media, whether you follow the Lakers, the Rangerettes, the Revolution, even the All-Stars as well. They'll be sure to post, obviously, the all-conference teams as well as how they did this afternoon. Here from the likes of Aiken High School, a big thank you again to all of our sponsors who've taken the time to join us with our broadcast here this afternoon, to Aiken High School for allowing us to broadcast the Mid-State Conference as well. Cassie Peterson for joining us here this afternoon, who provided so much insight from your perspective and also teaching me a little bit what to expect for the future. And who knows, maybe how things develop later down the road. Might to make this a regular thing or something, at least for the broadcast as well. We cannot keep you away from, your busy life, I would imagine. But again, Cassie, thank you so much for joining us here today.
No problem. Happy to be here for the All-Stars, and love the team just as much as ever. So
absolutely. And again, it was the Varsity Jazz going to Detroit Lakes, Varsity Kick going to Crosby Ironton. The Rangerettes take the overall title, while Detroit Lakes also finishes in second place. Aiken All-Stars, along with the Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus Revolution, the Detroit Lakes Lakers, and the Crosby Ironton Rangerettes this afternoon from Aiken High School. As we start to wrap things up here with our coverage of the Mid-State Conference the Mid-State Conference dance competition here from Aiken High School. Of course, you can always find out what's happening, the latest with activities for your live event at yourliveevent.com. And be sure to also tune into Homegrown Local Radio. All 6 of our signals, we're busy with coverage, not only for Pequot Lakes, Pine River Bacchus, Crosby Ironton, Aiken High School as well. We keep you informed on the latest happening here through the Lakes area. Well, that's going to about do things here this afternoon. Our team's plenty busy, and we've got plenty still in store for us here from the likes of Aiken High School. For all those tuning in here this afternoon, we certainly do appreciate you for taking the time to hang out with us here on yourliveevent.com. Well, until next time, this is Paul Vold signing off on behalf of Cassie Peterson as well. Thanks so much for tuning in, as this is a proud presentation of yourliveevent.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. You have a wonderful rest of your Saturday, and we will talk to you next time here on yourliveevent.com.